He was like, I can see you walking around up there through your window. Boy, you best believe if you come waltzing up here, I will karate chop that 5-foot squat little elf body back to Crazy Town where you came from, because, girl. Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Liv and welcome back to my channel. If my voice sounds raspy today, it's because it is. I don't know why I'm losing my voice, it's just happening, and welcome to my life. So today I'm going to tell you a little story time video about the time that this creeper stalker guy came to my house and like he wouldn't leave, and it was a bad time in my life. So this story, by the way, happened over the course of like 3, 4, 5 months. Like, it wasn't just a quick bada bing, we're done kind of thing. It was creepy and it was crazy and I wanted to tell you guys. So all started when I lived in California. I only lived there for like 6 months because then life failed me and I had to move back home. California is expensive, alright? And while I was living there, for part of the time I was nannying for this family, and they were their own kind of crazy. Like, I have so many stories to tell you about this family, but that will have to be for another time. So while I lived there in California, I was doing some dating, as people do, and most of my dating pretty much since I got out of high school has been online dating. Obviously it hasn't worked out because I'm still single, so whoops. Now while I was browsing, this guy messaged me and he seemed pretty cool, so we chatted and texted for quite some time actually, and he seemed pretty cool. So we decided to meet at this pizza place. So I get there and he stepped out of his car, and guys, I don't know what it is, but like, I just can't date guys that are shorter than me. And the thing is that I'm not super tall, so these guys that are shorter than me are pretty rare, but somehow I attract every single one of them. And I can't do it. So I'm meeting this guy whose profile said he was 5'8", but he steps out of his car and I swear he was like 5 foot squat. Now if you came from my catfish video, I think basically everyone on my channel has come from that video. Let me know if you have down below. But if you came from that video, you would have known that the guy that I met in that date as well was extremely short. Normally, like years ago, I would have just dealt with it throughout the whole date, never would have said anything, but no. Not this time, friends. My Olivia balls came out and I was like, no, why did you lie to me? This is not okay, like, bye. Just kidding, I wasn't that mean, but I told him that it's not okay to lie on your profile because obviously someone is going to tell when you meet up with them. If you're just honest, people will like you for that. I'm sure there are tons of girls that will like you, just don't lie. What a way to start off a relationship than with a lie, right? I actually feel really bad for this guy. Like, it's not his fault that he's short. But I decided to just not judge and stay there throughout the date, because it's not like this person is a bad guy because he's short. I mean, we had fun texting and talking and chatting, so I figured it would just be a fun date and then we could maybe stay friends, and that's it. So fast forward to after the date. I mean, the date was normal, he was normal, whatever. So we finish eating, we walk outside, we give each other, you know, that like awkward hug where it's like, well, I don't want to kiss this guy, I don't want to give him a handshake either, so like, here's an awkward hug. We did that awkward hug, we got in our cars, and then we drove away. So where I lived was like, I'm not kidding, 4 minutes max from this pizza place. So I am home in no time, walk up to my room, kick off my shoes, pull my phone out of my bag, and I see that I have 4 missed calls from this guy and 2 text messages. All the text messages say is, call me. So immediately I start thinking, oh shoot, what if I like left my wallet there or something? I check, my wallet's still there. So then Miss Worrywart kicks into action and I start to think, what if he's in trouble? I call him ASAP. At first he isn't answering, so I'm like, oh my gosh, he got jumped, he's in trouble, what is happening? He needs my help, he's in a trunk. Hello? He answers the phone, he's perfectly fine. So I'm like, okay, well, what's wrong? Why did you need to call me 4 times in 4 minutes? And he's like, no, I just wanted to tell you that I had a really great time tonight. Okay. Is that weird or is that sweet? Like, to me, calling 4 times in 4 minutes, I just saw you, that kind of passes the border of being sweet, but I don't know. So I end up going to sleep. I head to work the next morning. It's like an hour-and-a-half drive to get to my job. I only work for 4 or 5 hours because I work in a restaurant, and usually restaurant shifts aren't that long. But after I finish working, it's like 2 p.m. and I look at my phone, and lo and behold, does anyone say that? Lo and behold? Lo and behold, there are missed calls and text messages once again from this guy. By the way, I don't really know what his real name was. I couldn't pronounce it at the time, I think, so all I had him in my phone as was B something. That's it. So I see that I have missed calls and text messages from guess who? B something. I gotta get home before rush hour starts. Rush hour is basically 24/7 in LA, but it really gets bad around like 3 or 4. So I don't have time to call him back or answer his text messages. I'll just do it when I get home. So hour and a half later, I get home. I get my phone out once again, and here is more missed calls and texts. In the hour and a half, there's like 8 more missed calls. And the thing is, the weird thing is that the text messages weren't anything important. Like, they just said, hey, hi, how's it going? Had a great time with you last night. How did you sleep? Hey, hi. They didn't say anything important, so I don't know. It was just weird. The whole thing was just really, really weird. So once I get home, I already basically decided that I didn't really want to talk to him anymore. He seems kind of clingy. It's pretty annoying with all these texts and calls. I just like don't want to deal with it. Now the big decision is whether or not I should text him and tell him, or call him and tell him that I don't want to talk to him anymore. Should I just ghost him, or should I tell him that I'm not interested? Now for the guys out there, it's kind of obvious. Just text the guy, like it's much better. It's rude to ghost them, blah, 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 blah. I get that, but for all the ladies out there, tell me if this is not true. When you tell a guy that you're just not interested in anymore, even if you're so kind and sweet about it, like you're a great guy, I had so much fun, but I don't think there's any chemistry there, I don't think it's gonna work out, whatever you tell them, they can either take it really well and say, oh, that's all right, that's fine, I had a great time with you too, I'm sorry it didn't work out, whatever, they can be nice about it, or 90% of the time they turn into the Hulk and they just get pissed off. They're all like, I didn't like you anyways, you were ugly and your elbows were too pointy and your chin was ugly. They go off insulting you in every single way possible, and they tell you that they weren't really interested even though they just tried to text you 50 times in the last 24 hours. So most of the time for me, I decide that it's just not worth the hassle, not worth being degraded and assaulted to text them. Most of the time I just don't text them, they get the point and they stop texting me, and everything is fine and good again in the world. So I don't text him back, and eventually I'm hoping that he'll get the hint. I'm gonna spare you all the endless texts, but long story short, he would send me like, hey and hi and how's it going over the next 3 weeks, hundreds, probably thousands of times. Like, I would go to sleep at night and wake up to 60 text messages from him and 30 missed calls. Like, he wouldn't stop. And the weirdest part of it all is that the texts weren't like, oh, do you forgive me? What did I do wrong? Can we meet another time? I'm so sorry. No, they weren't like that. They were just like, hey, hi, hey, as if nothing was wrong. He did not get the hint. Holy smokes, he did not get the hint. As weeks passed, I started to wonder, should I do something about it? Like, should I text him and tell him I'm not interested? Should I change my phone number? Should I block his number? I was with like this stupid small little cell phone company that it cost so much money to block a number, so already being poor, that was not an option. Changing a number, same thing, it cost a lot of money. I just decided to not do anything and hope and pray that he would just stop eventually. Yep, I was wrong. One night I was filming a video, I think actually, and I got a text from him, and wasn't unusual, like this is a daily occurrence now. It just said, hey, hi, something like that, how's it going, whatever. But then he sends another text and he asks me if I'm home, which was a little bit outside of his like 3 text radius that he normally sent, but I don't know, I just didn't answer, wasn't weird, didn't answer. Then he asks if I'm free. Same thing, I don't respond. Then He says, I know you're home. Hold the phone. Wait, what? He says, I know you're home. I can see you walking through the window. Boy, you best believe if you come waltzing up here, I will karate chop that 5-foot squat little elf body back to Crazy Town where you came from, because girl, not having it. I start freaking out, like this is not okay. How did this happen? How does he know where I live? What is happening? Please help me, I'm gonna die. And then I decide, calm down, you don't even know if he's actually here, like he doesn't know where you live. So I start to think, okay, what if he's kidding? Like what if he's just trying to get a rise out of me, which is working, but what if he's just kidding and messing around and this is a funny joke of his? So when I get the text message that tells me he can see me, I like duck down, stop, drop, and roll, head over to the window, peek out and see if he's there, and there he is. And then my phone started ringing. So I think, okay, just don't answer. Maybe I can trick him into thinking that I'm really not there. He leaves another voicemail, he leaves another text. I am just like praying that he goes away, but he just keeps calling. So finally I decide to answer, and I don't know if this was a bad decision or not, I don't know, but I answer the phone and I'm like, hello, what are you doing? What's going on? What is happening? I'm trying not to be rude because like he is outside of my house right now and I don't want anything to go down, but I answer and he says that he can see me. He can see the lights on, he can see someone moving around. He's like, I know someone's home, can I please come in? No. So on the fly, I just start to say, I'm not home. That must be like, they have a lot of people living in that house. That's a huge house. There's a lot of people living there. I'm not home. He stops me right in the middle and he's like, I can see your car. I was like, yeah, I know. A friend came and picked me up. We're actually out right now. I'm spending the night. Like, I'm not home. So then I start to think, is this a good lie or a bad lie? Because maybe he's gonna think, oh, she's not home. Maybe I can sneak up there and wait for her. I was just trying to convince him that I wasn't home and that there were tons of people there, tons. So like, you better not try to mess with me. Then I ask, how in the world do you know where I live in the first place? Like, what? And he's like, oh, I just followed you home. Well, didn't follow you home, but I almost followed you home, just like into the neighborhood that you went in, just to, you know, make sure that you were safe and stuff. And I really wanted to talk to you again to tell you that I had a really great time. That's why I was calling you, but just followed you home a little bit and then like I left and went on my way. So over the last few weeks, I've been driving around that neighborhood because it was a pretty big neighborhood. He was like, I've been driving around that neighborhood and I've been trying to find your car. He said that he even took a picture of my license plate so that he could double check and match it up with the car. And he's like, yep, this is 100% your car. I have a picture. Oh my gosh, I am going to die. I told him how freaking crazy that was. Like, this is not normal. And I'm telling you, it was so weird. He was just so nonchalant about it. Like, this was his nightly routine. Like, this was regular. Like, this wasn't weird. So I ended up saying that I just wasn't there. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not interested in you. Like, I'm just not interested in dating. It's not gonna work out, sorry. And I forgot to tell you that this guy was super shy. So when I told him that, he was like, oh, okay, all right, well, I guess I'll see you later. No, you won't. But okay, bye. So we hung up, he did end up leaving, and after that, I heard from him just his regular, hey, hi, how's it going? His 3 text vocabulary. I heard from him every single day for like 2 months after that, and then it slowly started to slow down. He would text me like for 3 days nonstop, and then I wouldn't hear from him for 2 or 3 days, and then he'd text me for a week nonstop, and then I wouldn't hear from him for a week and a half, and then it was kind of on and off after that with his endless text messages. And then I eventually moved back home. Like, the day that I got home, I dropped my phone in the toilet, so my phone was dead. I didn't have one for like 2 or 3 months after that because there was just so much crazy happening in my phone. I just didn't want another one. And then when I did get a new phone, I got a new phone number. So who knows, if you have my old phone number and you're getting crazy texts every single day, like 80 of them a day from someone whose name starts with the letter B, then let me know, because I'm sorry. And that is the end of this video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you guys want to see more storytime videos like this. I actually have another creeper in the window story that I want to tell you guys, but this time it was actually one of my friends doing the creeping. So I have a whole list of stories that I'm like, I just want to get them out. I don't know what I was waiting for. I'm just gonna do it and go for it, and yeah. So if you guys want to see more storytime videos, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!